Big news just dropped. Apple's developing a brand new low-cost iPad powered by the A18 chipset, according to code references that were accidentally disclosed by the company yesterday. Now this is interesting because it builds on an earlier Bloomberg report suggesting that Apple's preparing to launch a top generation entry-level iPad for spring 2026. And while the design is an expected change, the A18 processor inside would make this one of the most powerful budget iPads Apple's ever released. Right now, the base iPad runs on the A16 chipset, the same one found in the iPhone 15, and starts at $349, but the A18 is already powering the iPhone 16e, the 16, and the 16 Plus, so we're looking at serious performance upgrades. On top of that, the A18 includes a 16-core Neural engine built for AI workloads, which means this entry-level iPad could finally unlock Apple Intelligence features that today's A16 iPad does miss out on. If Apple sticks to its usual schedule, we should see this launch sometime in the first half of 2026. We did see the A16 iPad launch via press release in early March of this year, and so they could do the same with this new model, or they could launch it at a spring event, though I don't expect Apple talking about this product for more than 5 minutes. Now you may be asking, is that the only thing that will set this apart from the A16 iPad? Well, mostly yes, but based on what we've seen with other recent iPad refreshes, we can expect a few other smaller changes. However, before we get into that, here's a quick reminder to click the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 20,000 subscribers right now, so every sub counts, and it brings you all the latest Apple news and rumors right to your sub feeds, so thank you in advance. The first thing I want to clarify is price. I don't see Apple raising it. In fact, since the 18 chipset will likely become cheaper to mass produce by next year, Apple can keep the entry-level iPad at $349 while still making decent margins. That's a huge deal because it keeps this iPad firmly in the student device category, something that works for casual browsing, schoolwork, and media without breaking the bank. Also, Apple allegedly is launching a new $599 MacBook with the A18 Pro, and so they can't really afford to make this any more expensive because then it would be cannibalized by this cheaper MacBook. Storage will likely stay the same 128 gigs as the base and up to 512 if you want to max it out, and thank goodness 64 gig iPads are officially dead. That was one of Apple's most anti-consumer moves for years, and with apps ballooning in size, 128 gigs is really the bare minimum now. RAM, however, is where we should see an increase. I'd expect 8 gigs with the A18, which will make multitasking notably smoother compared to the current 6 gigs. That means Stage Manager, Final Cut Pro, and heavier workflows will all benefit if you're the type of user who wants to edit video on your iPad or keep multiple apps running in split view at once. This bump is going to make a real difference. And of course, the A18 chip itself is the main upgrade. The A16 was already excellent data usage, but the A18 brings better efficiency cores, strong GPU performance, and importantly, Apple Intelligence support. That means Siri is finally useful, transcription happens locally, and you get the same AI text generation features as the iPhone 16 series. For a budget iPad, that's a big shift in capability. Apple isn't just selling an iPad to browse the web, they're giving you access to their complete AI suite at their lowest price point possible. Though yes, I know a lot of Apple Intelligence features are coming soon right now, but maybe by the time this new iPad launches, we do see all those features available to the public, who knows. As for colors, history gives us a good clue. Apple tends to refresh base product colors once every 3 generations. The M2 and M3 MacBook Air stuck with the same palette, but the M4 got a new sky blue option. The A14 and A16 iPad share the same colors, so the A18 iPad could easily introduce something fresh, maybe orange, maybe green, and yes, people absolutely hype a new paint job on a design that dates back to 2018, myself included. Accessories are a big question mark for me. The Magic Keyboard Folio currently makes 0 cents at $249. That's only $100 less than the iPad itself. I think Apple have to bring that down to $149 or $199 just to make it remotely appealing. Otherwise, it's hard to justify. A cheaper smart keyboard variant or even an education discounted bundle could go a long way in making this iPad more attractive for students, though yes, you do have compelling third-party options to go for instead. The USB-C pencil, on the other hand, is fine as is. I expect that to remain as the main stylus sold for this iPad. Connectivity is another likely talking point. Apple's probably going to add Wi-Fi 6E and act like it's a massive upgrade, even though most don't have the routers to take advantage of it. But in typical Apple fashion, they'll market this as the fastest wireless iPad yet. Bluetooth 5.3 is already fine, but Wi-Fi 6E gives them a talking point for marketing slides, and of course, 5G cellular models will stick around as per usual. I wonder if this iPad's going to gain Apple's new in-house Proxima chipset though. That is going to be combining the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chipset into one, and is supposedly going to be more reliable and efficient, but I'm sure if this iPad's going to gain it. And now let's talk about what's going to stay with the A18 iPad, because honestly there's a lot. The A16 iPad is already a well-rounded tablet, and so Apple isn't going to mess around with a formula that works. Right off the bat, the design is going to stick around. Flat sides, uniform bezels, Type-C, the whole package. Apple's industrial design has always been about longevity, and they're going to ride this one out for at least another 5 years. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Even though it dates back to the 10th generation iPads, it still feels premium and modern in 2025. And the display is also going to likely remain unchanged. You're looking at a 10.9-inch liquid retina display with 500 nits of brightness, 264 ppi, true tone, and a fingerprint-resistant coating. On paper, this isn't too bad, and it's pretty good for the price, but the compromises are definitely going to still be there. No P3 color support, so colors don't pop as they do on the Air and Pro, no anti-reflective coating, which is annoying if you're near windows or under strong lighting, and brightness being capped at 500 nits makes it okay indoors but a struggle outdoors. And yes, it's still going to be a non-laminated panel. Apple's done their best to mask the air gap, and honestly, you'll forget about it most of the time, so I'm fine with this being unchanged, especially since it is cheaper to repair these non-laminated panels, and kids are the ones using these who are most likely to break these iPads. Battery life will also be unchanged, and that's actually a good thing. The A16 iPad clears 10 hours of screen on time easily. Because there aren't any power-hungry extras, endurance is one of the biggest selling points of the base iPads. The camera stayed the same as well. The rear camera is good enough for scanning documents, the front camera being in landscape is excellent for calls, and center stage still makes video chats more natural. Nothing groundbreaking but still functional, and so that's going to remain with the A18 iPad. Speakers, staying the same as well, and that's a win. Stereo audio makes YouTube, Netflix, and Apple TV Plus much more enjoyable, mic quality solid, touch ID on the power button is still reliable and fast, no surprises there, those are also going to stay. Now here's one part that may make some people sigh. The USB-C port is still going to be USB 2 speeds on the A18 iPads, at least I think it will be. That means fine for charging, but slow for large file transfers. Personally not a massive issue in my opinion, but pro-leaning users will want the AL Pro for faster I/O. So ultimately not much is changing with the A18 iPad, and that's the point. Everything I just mentioned, design, display, battery, cameras, speakers, Touch ID, connectivity, Type-C and storage, they're all solid on the A16 iPads and already great for the price. The one big change is the chipset. Apple's slotting in the A18, and while that doesn't sound flashy, it does mean better performance, longer support, and more breathing room for future iPadOS updates. For an entry-level iPad, that's exactly the kind of change that matters. Now of course you may be wondering, should I buy the A16 model right now or wait for the new base iPads? Well, the A16 iPad has proven itself to be a very solid, dependable device. It takes the great foundation of the 10th generation model, adds more power and storage, and refines the experience without raising the price. If you just want a reliable iPad for daily usage, this is it, and because it's often going on sale nowadays, sometimes as low as $249, it remains an unbeatable value in the tablet space. So if you need an iPad right now, this A16 model is the one to get. I'll leave links below, and it will be supported for years to come. But if you can wait, the A18 iPad will undoubtedly be a solid upgrade because of the new chips and RAM, and also likely won't get a price increase, so I'm looking forward to launching. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I want to stay updated on the A18 iPads and everything else Apple has coming up, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.